Hi, dear friends. This is Vasim, and hope all is well for you. And I'm here today to present to you quickly a book that I have just finished that is called Change Your Genes, Change Your Life. And it is authored by Dr. Kenneth Pelletier, who is a clinical professor of medicine. And he also wrote many other books like The Mind as Healer and Mind as Slayer. This book, I was interested by it because it was talking about genes and how we can change them. And I thought that would be an interesting, point to get more knowledge about as a healer or as a therapist. This book is written by a doctor, which means that you will get a lot of technical words and explanation, but they are not complicated. It's very easy book to read. It took me like a week to finish because it's written in big, but it's also easy to process and to go through. If you don't focus a lot on technical things and technical words, it's not it's not my field necessarily. So I'm the scientific words, I do not focus on them pretty much. I try to see the meaning behind, okay, what does he want to say? Okay, he wants to say that genes are influenced by the environment and by traumas. Okay, I get that. So how can we deal with that? And how we can deal with that, that's the part that interests me more in this book. We have a list here in page 8, very, very interesting points that he develops further in the chapters that follow. He talks about the oxidative stress and how we what food we can help the inflammation, the immunity system, the detoxification process, the lipid metabolism, mineral metabolism, and methylation. He talks a lot about what I got from this book. He talks a lot about food and its influence and its impact on our genes and how it can help or not. And he talks also a lot about all what is mindfulness and meditation and how it can help us, to prevent, in a way, some diseases that are, for example, predestinated or pre-fated, or it's like fate that we can have them because it's in our genetic luggage from our ancestors. But he talks about, okay, how can we prevent that? What can help us towards that? The thing that to be honest, I liked the book, but I found it in a way, as a therapist, a little bit beginner for me, because when we talk about food, I studied naturopathy, I know what is meditation and so on. I wanted something like, I stayed like I wanted more. I wanted like to explore more. How can we do it? How can maybe like some meditations with the cells? Like I do that. I really love it. And maybe going deeper, with that, going deeper with, what type of visualization. We talk about visualization, meditation. What type of meditations apart from mindfulness? Yes, there are some studies that show its effect and so on. So I stayed like I think it's a very good beginner book if you are interested in the topic of food, how it can impact you, how like maybe if you are interested in to do some work with your genes, maybe through shamanic work and so on. It's a very nice book to begin with, but I feel like I need more about it. There are some interesting points I wanted to share with you about the change and the traumas that can, these are some things or points that I keep from this book. A study of 448 Dutch soldiers showed that early life trauma changed more than 45,000 genes in the hippocampus, causing these men to be more vulnerable to emotional stress and PTSD later in life. I found that really interesting, that there are studies that show that early traumas have an impact on our genes. Then there is this interesting sentence about, again, the key factor in this equation is that the most powerful beliefs our unconscious. So how that brings me to the question, how can we get in touch with our unconscious beliefs and change them in order to maybe free our genes from this unconscious beliefs, from these unconscious influences. So it brings you to question things, which is interesting. Another thing that I found interesting is talking about the promising companies in the future that can have an analysis or make an analysis of your genes as a way to prevent diseases. And he lists some companies, and he states that he's not really part of these companies, but he's just pointing us to maybe companies that you can trust, and knowing that they might use, like for example, Ancestry and so on, they might use your DNA or your genetic information in the future, maybe without you knowing it. And you have to be careful about that also. So have a look on this book. I will leave the link below, and let me know if you have other books that talk about genetics and genes and their, how we can work with them. Maybe some books in quantum physics or something like that. I would love to know more about them if you read them. So do not forget to support my work and to support my 2 books on Amazon and the journals. I will leave the links below, and I wish you a very, very nice day. Bye-bye.